train, and I'm going to tell you right now, we have a challenge ahead of us, which is me and Jonah have about 3 hours of magic to share, and I see we have about 1 hour to do it. So let me tell you, we're going to jump right into it, but the lecturer is going to have a little bit of close-up, a little bit of stand-up, there's going to be some cards, there's going to be candy, there's going to be fire, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. And with that being said, let's jump into it. And I need someone to help, but I used someone in the show yesterday, and they were so wonderful that I think I'm going to use them again. Fred, would you join us up on stage? Can we give Fred a big round of applause? Adam, you cleaned the stage off after asking if it was set. All of my props have now been removed.
For real?
For real.
Here.
You asked specifically, is the stage set? I said yes. Hi Fred, nice to see you. Well, we're getting that ready. Do you know any jokes? Now's the time to tell.
That was good, though.
Is the stage ready? It was. Hi, Fred, come stand right over here. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Fred, we're going to do a card trick. Someone's going to pick a card, but I am not going to find it. You're going to be the one to find it, okay? Go back to your seat then, we'll find somebody else. No, hold on. They have jokers back in the deck, we don't need that. I need somebody to pick a card. I'm going to come down here just for a second. Hello, sir. What's your name? Joel, would you say stop as I go through the cards? Perfect, I'm going to show you the card. I'll let everyone in the back of the room see. I know it's maybe hard to see because I'm on camera. Joel's card, and I'm going to leave it inside the deck. No sneaky moves. Now, I am not going to find it. Fred, you're going to find it. Now, Fred, have you ever found a card before? You said you're not much of a card guy. Perfect. Okay, well then I'm going to tell you how to do it. You're going to use your intuition. I'm going to help you. I'm going to do a little bit of my power. Hold up one finger. Thank you for choosing that one. In Toronto, they don't always choose that one. Here we go. Did you feel that? I didn't. But I'm glad you did because a little bit of my power has transferred into you. Which means now you have everything you need to do the trick. Would you cut about half the cards from here to over here? Wow, you got there. That was very specific. And Fred cut to one card and one card only. The 10 of spades! Wow. No. What did you say, not too good? I disagree. See, Fred did this the hard way. Fred, you've heard of card counting? Yeah? Well, that's a 10, and right from where Fred cut, I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. Ending on one card. What was the name of your card?
King of Hearts. Yeah, I did it.
That's but I don't know why you're laughing because Fred's not done. I said Fred did this the hard way, and he did it because not only did he find the King of Hearts, but also the King of Clubs, the King of Spades, and the King of Diamonds. Can we give Fred a big round of applause? Pretty darn good. If you're a Vegas, you cards yourself out. In fact, Fred, you did such a good job. Let's keep this going. Would you shuffle the cards? Shuffle the cards. And Fred, you're going to help me demonstrate for these lovely people how it is possible to cheat at cards even when you're not the one dealing the cards. Because that's a question people ask me a lot. They say, can you cheat at cards? And then they inevitably follow it up with, can you cheat at cards if you're not the one dealing, if you're not the one handling the cards? And the answer is yes. There are ways to cheat at cards even when you're not the dealer, and I'm going to demonstrate. Are those shuffled? And Fred, let's say we're playing a game of poker. How many people, a couple people to play with? Let's deal out some hands. Would you deal out a couple of hands? 5 cards for each player. Yeah, keep going, up to you. Up to you, maybe 3, 4, maybe 1 for me too. Maybe 1, because I want to be in the game too. And keep going, so that everybody gets 5 cards. Now there's a way to cheat at cards when you're not the dealer, and it's a technique called shuffle tracking. And the idea is if you know the location or identity of some cards, and you follow where they end up during the shuffle, you can use that information to your advantage. And I'll explain what I mean. 5 cards for everybody, this guy only got 4. Yeah, what is this, cheating going on? That's perfect. Look, for instance, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but let's say we were playing a game and I see a King of Spades here. It's okay if you can't see it. I'm going to explain it in a second. Let's say I see the King of Spades here. Well, if I was watching someone shuffle the cards and mixing them up, I could see where the cards go and I could try to follow those cards to get some information. Or for instance, if I was playing and I wanted, here, a King of Diamonds. Let's say I wanted that to make up like a full house or something. I see where the King of Diamonds end starts, and then I follow where it goes during the shuffle. I can use that to my advantage. But here's the thing. I'm going to try to do some shuffle tracking in a moment, and I don't want you to think that because I just started looking at these cards, that's somehow going to help me. So would you do me a favor? Fred, would you take a look at the top card of the cards I didn't look at, just the very top card. And don't let me see it, I won't look, don't let them see it, they could be in on it. Remember it, Fred? Drop it back on top. Yeah, right back where it was. And then take all the rest of those cards, drop it on top of yours. Bury Fred's card inside. Now think about this. You shuffled, you looked at one card. I don't know what that card is. They don't know what that card is lost inside. All of that was to keep me fair. The shuffling, the cutting. Don't forget it, Fred, or else it's going to be awkward. All that was to keep me fair. But to keep Fred fair, we're going to use two jokers like cut cards. Fred, I'm going to give these to you. Would you place them both face up on top? Face up, yeah. Or both face up on the bottom. Or one face up on top and one face up on bottom. It's up to you. It's up to you, though, Fred. It's your life. I want you happy. Don't look happy, but that's okay. Fred, now cut the cards. And as Fred does that, I'm going to be watching. And complete the cut, Fred. No. Like, take the rest of these and drop it on top. Yeah. Perfect. No, you're doing excellent. And then, Fred, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, you can cut them again. Oh, no one's ever done it twice. And then complete the cut. Finish the cut. Fred, if you want, you can cut again. But I will tell you, I see the timer going down. We're good. Okay, that's good. Fred looked at a card. First he shuffled, looked at one card, lost it inside, cut the cards, and mixed them up. Now comes the hard part. I'm going to try to do three things at the same time. The first is I'm going to try to find those jokers. The second is I'm going to try to locate your card. And the third is I'm going to try to get those cards. This is the hardest part. Do you know how to do a Pharaoh shuffle, Fred? Well, then shit. I need someone else to help me. Oh, we can do it. Very human. Deck inside. By the way, this is self-working. Oh my God, can I not Pharaoh shuffle today? Ugh.
Do you need me?
Yeah, you want to do this?
He gets it right off.
You better do it right, or else I'll crush you. Yeah. I told you we're going to really human up here. Right? They're all screwed up. That's good enough. Just do it, don't worry. Good enough for me. Just push them together. Shuffled by a random spectator. Shuffled card. One card looked at. Shuffled inside. The goal was to find your card and get it in between. No, definitely, Jonah, you messed this up.
Perfectly.
Get it in between. One card in between these jokers. Can you see that there is one card in between those jokers?
Yes.
But if this was really about shuffle tracking, then I wouldn't just be trying to follow your card. Like, I would follow where all the cards. Like, for instance, if I wanted to follow where that king of spades went. No. He did this one. Yeah. Way off. One card. Yeah. Should we do it again?
Do it again.
We're running out of time. No, Fred, you did good. Whatever. I'm just going to pretend it worked and we're going to do it. There will be one card in between those jokers. This would be Fred's card. Oh, man. You know what you see? It's pretty cool. Hey, look. Should have used a new deck. Fred, remember this card. We're gonna speed through this. If I was doing shuffle tracking and try to follow cards, I would follow like where that ace of spades went, or I would follow where, let's say, the two of hearts went to make for a key card. Do you remember the card you just looked at?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to lose it inside the deck. I'm going to lose the jokers inside. We'll cut them a few times. Perfect. Now I'm going to do three things at the same time. This time I promise it will work. Three cards. I'm going to do three things at the same time. The first is I'm going to find Fred's card. The second is I'm going to find those jokers. And the third...
Oh, come on.
6 more tries. Never in my life have I had this much trouble with Pharaoh shuffle.
8 times the charm.
I might just do a deal. I don't think I can carry these. These cards are destroyed.
You can do it.
These cards will not Pharaoh, guys. What do you all offer me checks now? I love this. Did it! We sound like I struggled for 40 minutes. If I did it right, on the second try, one card ends up in between between those jokers. But Fred, if this was really about shuffle tracking, I wouldn't just be trying to find your card. I would be following all the cards. Like for instance, I'd know where the ace of spades was, or the two of hearts I mean that we looked at a minute ago, or that ace of spades that we looked at just a second ago, like this. But this wasn't about finding that two of hearts or the ace of spades. This was about finding one card, getting it in between the jokers. Fred, what was the name of your card? Yeah. You tell me quickly, for the love of God, let's get this over with. And it's the king of diamonds. Can we give Fred a big round of applause? If you can do a pharaoh shuffle, you can do this trick. I'm going to do this in reverse order. I'm going to explain how this trick works. It is surprisingly easy. Never in my life have I had to struggle that much with a pharaoh. If you know how to do a pharaoh shuffle, you know how easy this is. So this is a trick called Detour on 51st Street. The reason I call it that is this deck is very special. It is 51 cards. That's it. That's the whole secret. So the secret is based on a trick of Ed Marlowe's, which used what was called an incomplete pharaoh shuffle control. And the original way it was published was something like this. He pharaoh shuffled. I assume he was able to hit it. He held the cards like this. Someone said stop, looked at a card, then he went like this. He cut the cards a few times. He did one of these. It's a lot of sequencing. And I didn't like the sequence, but I liked what the method accomplished, which was that you could have somebody look at a card, and with that sequence, that one card ended up controlled to the very center of the deck. And if you have 51 cards in the deck, the very center is 26, right? There's 25 cards above and below. Very cool method, but I didn't like doing this and holding the cards like this and having cards peeked at and cutting, but I like the idea of the trick. So I was talking to a friend of mine about this trick and the process, and he said, well, if you need a card controlled to the 26th position, if you deal out 5 hands of poker, that's 5 cards in each hand, and they look at the next card, it's automatically in the 26th position. So here's what happens for the trick. I know it got a little lost in the confusion there, but 5 cards are dealt out onto the table for people, and I sometimes ask somebody how many players in the game. They will usually say a number like 4 or 5, and if they don't, I just tell them how many to deal. It's very easy to correct them. If they say 8 players, you say, no, too many, just deal with 5. Doesn't matter. If they deal 4, you say, don't forget about me and deal for me. But 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. Now, I pick up the first packet, I turn it over. This is the packet on my left, and I'm going to point out a card that is 4th from the face. So if you look at the cards like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the one 4th from the face. So in this case, it's the 3 of spades. And I say, for instance, if you were shuffle tracking, you might remember where a card like the 3 of spades was to make up a straight flush. You follow where it goes inside the shuffle, and then I turn over the packet, and I just take the bottom 3 cards and I just sort of mix them a little bit. Doesn't change where that 3 of spades is, which is 4th from the face, or with the packet face down, 2nd from the top. So I show that card, I say if the cards are shuffled and mixed, I remember where that 3 of spades is, or where it started, I can follow where it goes. Then I drop that packet on top of the one that was directly beside it. Then I move all the way to the end, in this case the packet closest to me, and I pick it up, and I say, or let's say I wanted the 3 of clubs. And this time I pick the one that is 2nd from the face. Or, face down, it's 4th from the top. This will make sense in a second. But I say, remember that, let's say I wanted that 3 of clubs, where I can see where it goes, and now I pick the top 3 cards up, and I give them a little bit of a shuffle. Again, it doesn't change the order of that sequence. And I drop this on the table, and then I say, but in a moment, I'm going to try to do some shuffle tracking, and I don't want you to think that because I looked at those cards, that's somehow going to help me. So look at the top card, the ones you're still holding, and remember that card. Don't let anybody else see it. I'm going to show it to everybody here. 3 of hearts. We're getting all 3s. That makes this explanation easy. Now, I can have the spectator assemble these packets, or if I'm in a rush because we have a lot to do, I'll pick them up myself. Their selection goes back on top, and now I pick up this packet, which, remember, is the one that I looked at first. I drop it on top of the ones beside it, drop all of those on top of this one, drop all of these on top of these. What that does is, it now places those 2 cards that I pointed out to the audience, the 3 of clubs and the 3 of spades, 1 2nd from the face, 1 2nd from the top. These get dropped on top. We're ready to go. The spectator selection is now at the 26th position, directly in the middle of the deck. I then give him the 2 jokers face up, and I say you can place them both face up on top, or on the bottom, or one on top, one on bottom. We know as magicians that when they cut, that's not going to make a difference. For lay people, they might. Doesn't hurt, so we do it. I drop those on top. They then cut the cards. Now they can cut the cards as many times as they want. In the original Marlowe version, when he started to do this sequence, because he didn't use a 51 card deck, he then had to cut the cards, know which half had the jokers, which half had the selection, and do an in pharaoh and other complicated stuff. Here, all I have to do is split the deck in half, which is easier to do with an incomplete deck, because when I split the deck in half, if one half is a little bigger than the other, I just make sure that the smaller half gets pharaoh inside the straddle pharaoh. Now I'm going to take a brief second to talk about a pharaoh. If you don't know what a pharaoh is, imagine these are two halves of a deck. A pharaoh is when you take the two halves of the deck, you push them together so the cards alternate. Exactly perfectly 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. A straddle pharaoh is when you have not a perfect match, so not an even number of cards, let's say 7, and you split them, and the smaller half goes into the bigger half. So this packet is both the top and the bottom card. I just realized that if you don't know what a pharaoh is, this is not going to help you. It's a gang sign from Toronto, but this is what a pharaoh is, okay? So this is a straddle pharaoh. The smaller half is going to go into the bigger half. And now I split the deck in half. If I hit this on the first round, I'm going to be so mad. Of course I did. So I go like this. No, I missed it. So I go like this and I straddle it, making sure that I hit it. Perfect, I did it. And now I spread the cards. And in between, you probably can't see on the camera, but in between the two face-up jokers is now one selected card. Now here's the cool thing. Because a pharaoh shuffle is a perfect shuffle, there are numerical patterns that we can follow. For instance, I know after the pharaoh shuffle that 3 cards above my joker, my first face-up joker, 1, 2, 3, is going to be one of the 3s that I pointed out earlier. I also know that 4 cards underneath the joker is the other 3. So I can now say to the spectator, because they know that that's going to be their selected card. But they don't expect me to reproduce the other 3s I just pointed out. So I say, if this was really about shuffle tracking, then I would be following where cards went. For instance, I would know where that 3 of clubs was. Or, and now I count, where that 3 of spades was. So you get these 2 additional hits. And then I say, but this wasn't about the 3 of clubs or the 3 of spades. This was about finding one card and getting it in between those 2 jokers. For the first time, what was the name of your card? They say the 3 of cards. Now you can dramatically reveal it. The 3 of cards. That's D250 first grade. When you talk about this lecture, tell people I hit the pharaoh. And then don't mention that Jonah had to come up and we still couldn't get it, okay? Any questions about that? No, perfect. Okay, then let's explain the other one. That is by far the hardest thing I'm going to share. It's so hard, I can't do it. The next one is way easier. So the next one is something I call semi-automatic cutting to the aces. By round of applause, how many of you know or are familiar with Steve B? Steve B wrote an amazing series of books called the Semi-Automatic Card Series, and it's just exactly what it sounds like. It's a whole bunch of tricks that are all either semi-self-working or completely self-working. I loved the series. I really wanted to submit something, so I came up with this trick just to submit, and it ended up being a trick that I use quite a bit, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm going to show you the setup. It is completely self-working, and for this, I'm going to take out all of the spades as well as the 4 kings. And the setup for this is very simple. I'm going to put my spade cards in numerical order. So I'm going to place a queen on the table, followed by a jack, followed by a 10, then a 9, an 8, a 7, all the way until the end. I'm going to quickly set this up. Three, two, okay. So I have set up here the 10 of spades, queen of spades followed by the jack, followed by the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, no ace of spades. Then I take any 3 kings, I place them underneath. All of these cards go on top of the deck. I then take like 12 cards, I place that on top, followed by the last king. I'm going to show you the setup again. Right now it is 1 king on top, followed by a bunch of indifferent cards, then the queen, jack, 10, 9, my slug, all the way into those 3 kings. Okay. All I have to do is now force the king that is in the middle of this 3 king setup. Super easy to do. I hold a break above, in this case, the king of hearts. And now, I do a riffle course. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the riffle course. If you're not, we can jam out afterwards. But the riffle course is I'm holding a break above it with my pinky from the back. My thumb is going to riffle down the edge of the cards until someone says stop. They say stop right here. It looks like I'm going to lift off where they said stop, but really I close it and I lift off at my break. So at real speed it sort of looks like this. They say stop, and now I can show the card. And usually what I do for a bigger room is I actually hold the break below the king of hearts. So I can go like this, someone says stop, I cut, and now I can show the card like this. And now no control, I leave that card exactly where it is, and I'm ready to do the trick. Place these cards on the table. Now I have my spectator cut the deck in half. And what I need him to do, or her to do, is cut into my slug of spades. So that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, I need them to cut somewhere in that slug. So they reach over, I have it positioned to about half. They cut like this. So I'll go like this so we can see it. I know right now that they've cut to my stop. And the reason I know they've cut to my stop is I marked my cards. So I simply took a red pen, and in the dot in the center of the card, I'm happy to show you this afterwards, in the center of the card there's a little red dot. So if they cut like this, and I see they missed, I say, take those cards back, and then I look at them and I would say, look at me. I don't want you to just cut all willy-nilly. I want you to really believe that you can find this card, cut again, and now I can direct them. So if they cut too many, I can say cut a little less, whatever, but they usually are going to hit right to that slot because I positioned it properly. So it's there. Now they turn over this card, whatever this card is, let's say a 7 in this case. If they now count 7 cards, I'll show you what happens. I'm going to do it face up so you can see. Normally we do it face down, but so that's a 7. They're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This now is their selected card. I place the rest on the table. There was a king you can see because I did it face up on top of this packet. There was also a king that was on the original top of the deck, which means we have 2 of them already. And there's a king remaining on top of this, so we're really far ahead. They said 7, we count to 7. I show that it's the 7th card. It is the selected card, which is already, if you think about it from a layperson's perspective, somebody picked a random card, lost in the deck, he cut to a 7, you count 7, and there's the card. Pretty cool. But then also, you can reveal that they also found the 1, 2, 3 makes like this. So I'm going to quickly put this back, just so you see. So again, in real time, we force the king of hearts. Somebody now cuts some cards like this. That's a 4. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, this card, what was yours? King of hearts. We got it, but not just 1, but that's 2, that's 3, that's all 4. Any questions about the semi-automatic cutting to the aces? Yes.
How many indifferent cards between the king and the slug?
I do about 12 or 13 cards. The easy way to think about it is this. If you cut the deck in half, you want them to hit like a 5 or 6 or a 7 of spades. So if you cut the deck directly in half and you see that it's a king or a queen, I should say, on top, then you have too many cards on top. If you cut it directly in half and you see a 3, you have too many. You're just trying to give yourself some leeway where if they cut a little too little or too many, they're still within the bank. But that's a great question. You can also do this impromptu. If you want to see how to do that, we'll talk in the jamming room. But that's semi-automatic cutting to the aces. Any other questions about that? Well then, thank you very much. Oh yes, question.
Hey, what was the marking? That was the part I missed.
The marking is, so I don't know if we can see this on camera, but it depends on what deck you're using, obviously. But in a bicycle deck of cards, there is a little dot in the very center. And with the 808 backs, the rider backs. So mine is showing on screen. So let me just quickly see. I mean, if you have a deck of 808s in your hands right now, you can just take a look at that dot, but I just colored mine in. So I don't know if you can see that. It's probably too small a detail on camera. Oh, you see it. So I colored in the dot, and this one I haven't. So you can see a pretty striking difference. And I can see that from like back here. Like I can see that that's colored in versus not colored in. So pretty effective marking system, even if you're just using that for a key card or something to know that or that a force card or anything, just so you know that you've hit what you need to hit. I will mark my deck. And this is just a big red pen. I have a blue one, I have a red one. I put this into every deck I have, just a dot somewhere for something. And then afterwards I'm happy to show you if you want some more. Yeah.
I actually wasn't my question.
Oh, I'm bad at listening.
No. My bad. I meant when I said, what do you mark? That's what I missed.
Oh, sorry, that's an excellent question. I mark all of my spade cards. So I mark the queen of spades, jack of spades, 10 of spades, 9 8, 7 6 5 4 3 2. I don't mark the ace. You'll notice that ace was not in the slug, and the reason the ace is not in the slug is I want to deal, if that was, let's say, a 7, I want to deal 7 or 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and if this was an ace, that would be the last card here. But because I removed the ace, it'll instead be a king or whatever the mates of my board are. But yes, I mark every one of the spade cards so that I can see right away if they cut into my bank or if they missed, right? Because nothing is worse than being like, look, you cut to one card and it's the 8. You know what? Let's try this again, right? Doesn't look good. So I can know before I reveal that it's there. Good question. Any other questions? Well then, let's play a game. I need somebody to help me with this game, and I'll tell you right now, there is candy involved. So anybody here like candy? Raise your hand. Like, yeah, you agree. Oh, you do? Would you join me up on stage? Can you give her a big round of applause? What's your name? Gina. It's a pleasure to meet you. Gina, I'm going to remove a couple of candies. These are skills that I've now touched. Gross skills. Perfect. Okay. When I was a kid, I used to play a game called Candyland. You know the game? You ever heard of it? I used to play this game called Candyland, and I will tell you, as a kid growing up, I was so frustrated that Candyland did not use real candy, right? That would have been a real. So I came up with my own version, a little game, using candy. The only thing is, I've played this game so many times, and I've gotten so good at it, I know who's going to win even before the game begins, okay? Which makes it kind of not fun, at least for me. So I want to try something. Sort of a game / magic trick. Before we begin, these pieces are going to represent like our board for the game. And this is piece number 1. And I'm going to explain how the game works. Would you put your finger behind piece number, that's good. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to move one to the left or right. Now, if I ask you to move, where would you go right now? Yeah, to here, I guess. Because that's good. There's nowhere on that side, right? But now, if I ask you to move, where would you go? Either red or to yellow, right? You can go back and forth. And again, from here, every time you make a decision, it increases. So don't do anything yet because I don't want to see what you're about to do. You raised your hand a second ago. Would you do me a favor? Would you stand up? Would you stand directly behind me? Would you hold out your hand? As close to me as you can, but don't touch me. You can touch me. It's okay. Hold your hands up like this, sir. Higher. Just tilt your head. Perfect. Turn your fingers like this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, that's perfect. What's your name, sir? I should have asked before you touched me. Joel. When Joel has his hands over my eyes, I really cannot see. So I know this might sound funny to some of you, but please, don't everybody leave. Okay? Especially not you, Gina. Are you still there? Gina, take your finger and put it behind the yellow candy. That's piece number 1. Have you done that? Gina, when I snap my fingers, I'm going to tell you to move. I'd like you to move either one to the left or right. Ready? Gina, move now. Gina, right now your finger should be behind the orange one. Is that correct? That's not a trick, that's obvious. Keep your finger where it is. I'm going to snap my fingers, and now I'm going to give you choices to move either to the left or the right. Gina, move now. Gina, keep your finger where it is until I snap. Move again. Move again. Move again. Stop there. Gina, keep your finger exactly where it is. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to say you are not on the green skittle right now. Is that correct? Gina, keep your finger where it is, but you can eat the green skittle. Lucky. Okay, Gina, keep your finger where it is. Until I tell you to move, you can move now. Gina, keep your finger where it is. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to say you are not on the purple skittle right now. Is that correct? Gina, keep your finger where it is, but you can eat the purple skittle. Gina, keep your finger where it is until I tell you to move. You can move now. Move again. Move again. Stop right there. Gina, so far I've been telling you where you are, but this time I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to tell you where you aren't, but also where you are. Gina, I do not think you are on the yellow skittle. I do not think you are on the red skittle. If you are on the orange skittle, can you say hell yeah? Can we give Gina a big round of applause? Give it up for Gina. Show you this so good. You did an amazing job. And Gina, because you did such an amazing job, the rest of the skittles are for you. Give Gina a big round of applause. I know this. I'll give you back to you in a second. So the sequence of this is pretty simple. There are Craig Filicetti receivers in each one of these. I will use so this is obviously a mathematical trick. I'm going to explain it in a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to bring Jonah on to do some miracles. This is my setup. I use Skittles, but you can use anything with 5 objects. And all that you have to remember is you're going to be forcing the one that is the second one from the starting position. So I'm going to whip through this. You can come up to me on the table, write down these numbers afterwards, but you instruct them on the game. The presentation is basically the method as well. You have them move once. I have them move and verify to me because I'm blindfolded that they understand the game. So first I play with them, then I do it blindfolded, and you saw what I said. I said, Gina, put your finger behind the yellow one. I'm going to tell you where to move. Move now. I say, Gina, are you on orange? She says yes. I need that confirmation because if I say, Gina, move, and I say, are you on orange? And she says no. I know something's gone wrong and I have to re-explain. Gina said yes, and now all I do is I have her move 4 times. Then I have her move 1 time. Then I have her move 3 times. And the way that works mathematically is if they're on the orange Skittle and they move 4 times, they cannot be on the purple one at the end of the sequence. Just trust me over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you say keep your finger where it is. That's very important because if they eat the Skittle and then they put their finger back on a different one, the math won't work. So I say keep your finger where it is, but you are not on the purple Skittle. You can eat it. Gets rid of it. Now I say move 1 more time. Mathematically, they can't be on green. I eliminate that one, and now they will either be on yellow or red. It's just mathematically how it'll work. I have them move 3 times, and they will always end up on orange, right? 1, 2, 3. So now you get to have the big reveal, which is you say you're not on red, you're not on yellow, you're on orange, and because this is sort of a little silly mathematical trick, and I want to end on a punch and some energy, I say, if you're on orange, give me a hell yeah. And she goes, hell yeah. And I go, hell yeah, okay, great. And then they get confused. So here's what makes this so cool, and then I'm going to bring Jonah out. I came up with this because my friend Caleb Wiles sent me a challenge. He said, I have a YouTube channel that combines magic and math, and I want to do a trick where I could fool the people watching, a pre-recorded trick, and then explain to them how it works. So I need a math trick to do that. And he said, do you have anything you can come up with? So we came up with this, and what's cool is you can do this on video. So you can pre-film this, have this on your website or something, and say, hey, here's a little magic trick, put your finger on the screen, follow along with my instructions, and even though it's pre-recorded, you can predict which Skittles are going to end up with. You can also do this with other things. One of my favorite ways is, let's say you want to do a gig at a bar, right? And you email a whole bunch of bars in your local area, and you attach a video with it. And the video is 5 bottles on your tabletop bar at home. You tell the person watching to point, follow along, you keep eliminating bottles. You predict which bottle they end up with. Then you take that bottle, you put it in a paper bag, and punch it up, and it disappears. So you get like a couple magic moments inside that. This is completely self-working. I have had people do it over Zoom. I've had people do it over the phone. You can do it with almost anything, including M&M's, Skittles, etc. Anything that has 5 different objects like this. I know I'm tearing through all this stuff. Any questions about this trick? No. Perfect. Oh, yes.
When you're not 5 different ones, you just don't have my number.
I just make sure I only do this with 5. Like, no one ever walks up to me with a bag of 12 different kind of candies and like, do a magic trick with these. So if I decide I want to do this trick, I go out and I buy the bags of candy that have 5, and I just do it. I only do this with candy because I like them eating and stuff. But yes, every bag of Skittles comes with 5 different colors. M&M's, I think Jolly Ranchers. Like, you can just go through. Super easy to find it. And if not, if you do this at like a house party, you can borrow 5 different objects. You say, oh, we'll use the cutlery and maybe your keys and a phone. And you can do the trick like this. You can predict this in advance. Sometimes I say we'll play a game. If you win, I'll give you a $100 bill, and on it says you will choose orange. Sometimes I make all the rest of the Skittles in the bag change to orange. There's a lot of different ways you can sort of play with this idea. And again, the sequence is once we're on the 4th one, move 4 times, move 1 time, move 3 times, and the trick will work. Come and talk to me afterwards if that doesn't make sense.
413 is a year ago in Massachusetts.
That's why I use that. That's why I worked it out specifically for this convention. That's right. I can't hit a pharaoh, but I can program. I don't know what that is. Any other questions about this?
Yeah.
Well then, I'm excited to bring. Oh yes. Question.
So is it possible to use any other number of objects but 5
You can use any number of objects you want, but you'll have to work out the math.
Okay.
So, which is not hard, but let's talk about it at the jam session, but we can do it. Just because I know there's more questions, but this guy's got some cool stuff I want to show you. So I think if we have more questions, we'll answer it afterwards. Now I get to introduce you to my business partner, my partner in crime, my very best friend in the entire world. Please put your hands together for the one and only Jonah Babins.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I am gonna move real fast because I got a bunch of cool stuff to show you. It's gonna get increasingly hard. So we're gonna start with something really easy that everyone can do that you're gonna love. And we're gonna get a little bit harder, so that I think all of you should do. Take a bit of practice, but it's worth it. And then if you have time for the third thing, it's gonna be really hard, and only the mood monkey people here are gonna do it. Let's start with something easy. I'm going to try to stay in one place so it's easy for the camera, because all of this is going to be in my hands. Can you guys see the 4 queens? Yes? Okay, I'll try to tilt it down so you can see. These are the 4 queens, clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts. I can see a lot of people are looking away, but you, sir? What's your name? Charlie. Charlie, have you ever heard of deja vu? Okay, so deja vu is when you see something and you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. I'm just going to take the queens and I'll put them on the table, but we're going to use one other card for this, in this case the 2 of hearts. Now, Charlie, I do a very quick question. Have you ever heard of deja vu? Charlie, deja vu is when you see something like the 2 of hearts, you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. So let's put that on the table, but before I continue, I do have to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of deja vu? Yeah. Okay. Deja vu is when you see something like the 2 of hearts, you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. I'm just going to put that over here on the table, but before I continue, I do have to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of deja vu? Yeah. Deja vu is when you see something like a 2 of hearts, you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. Now, I'm just going to put that. Did we do this one? No, we did. Okay. Never mind. That's deja vu. Okay. Something to do very, very quickly how this works. Raise your hand if you do card magic left-handed. This is for you, three, okay? Now, you can totally do this right-handed as well. I do card magic left-handed because when I was really young, I used to watch videos of David Copperfield doing McDonald's aces, and I would mirror him. When you mirror somebody who is right-handed, you become a leader. So that's what happened to me. I'm going to show you how this works, and I'll show you very quickly how to do this right-handed. Very simple. You start with the 4 queens or any 4 of a kind. The next card you want to make sure is very different. In my case, I use any low number card, and then the 4 queens as the picture card. And here is the beautiful, beautiful move. So I've got all 4 cards here. I have a break under that top card. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove that break 2 cards in. And I'm going to shove that break 2 cards in. So what's actually happening from the top here is it looks like all 4 queens are laying on top of the deck, but actually 2 queens are already underneath the top card. Okay? Now, all 4, so again, spreading these cards, I get my break, and I'm just going to shove it in. Okay? So you can't see it from the top, it looks totally fair, but actually 2 of the queens are already under. Now this is the beautiful move. I'm going to square up those queens at the front. I'm going to push the top 2 forward, hold the back 2 in, and put them on the table. And what very clearly looks like I put all 4 queens on the table, I'm now in this situation. Okay? So I'm going to do it one more time so you can see. I've got all 4 queens. There's my break. It goes underneath 2. I'm going to square them up and put them on the table. And I have just set this up. Cool? Okay. Now I'm going to turn my hand up. I'm going to turn over the top card towards me, and I'm going to turn my hand back down. And this is the first time I say, have you ever heard of deja vu? Yes? Deja vu is when you see something like the 2 of hearts and you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. Now I'm going to do a triple lift, which is very easy because the cards are already face up. So it's only the second half of triple lift. I'm going to put it on the table. I'm going to say, before I continue, I have to ask, have you ever heard of deja vu? Yes. Now I'm going to do a double lift. Deja vu is when you see something like the 2 of hearts and you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. This is my lap. I'm going to take that, put it on the table. But before I continue, I do ask you another question. Have you ever heard of deja vu? I do a single lift. Deja vu is when you see something like the 2 of hearts and you feel like for some reason you've seen it before. I take that and I aim towards the pack put down, and I say, wait a second. If this is, and then if I'm doing this for someone that close, then I have them turn over and show that it's the 4 queens, and nothing changed, and that is deja vu. Any questions about deja vu? Do not be shy. Okay, I will explain how right-handed people do deja vu afterwards. It's the same idea, you just have to reverse spread the cards. Sorry, there's got to be one for that. Okay, this is something very quick that I want to share with a $1 bill. I don't know if you know this, but I looked up where we are staying right now at this beautiful hotel, and it turns out that this hotel is haunted. I didn't know that. So the reason I bring that up is because thanks, Dad. Very good. Now just show of hands who can see the glaring thread in the shining lights. No, beautiful. Just me then. Amazing. Okay. I want to explain what is going on here. I am using an invisible thread reel. I'm going to tell you what it is in a second. My goal for the next 3 minutes is to convince a bunch of you that are really afraid to use threads to use threads. Okay? So first thing, raise your hand if you are very afraid to use threads in your magic because they break and you hate them to the side. Cool. Keep your hand up if you don't really buy expensive thread reels because they're like $350. They have a battery that can plug into a computer. Yeah, totally. Also, some of you, I can see this in an older crowd, you used to have thread reels where you plug both ends and have them wash and go. You have to suck out the thread so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to spend, thank you. I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes explaining to you not only why I think you should do it, also what it is that I'm doing, the cheapest and most effective way to do it, and the amazing place on my body that this thread reel is hidden 24/7 all the time, everywhere, all the time. So, first thing, why I think you should do thread work is because you tell someone a magician, they basically want you to do a couple things. They're like, can you make my art disappear? Ha 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 ha. But also it's, can you multiply money? And can you make stuff float? Multiplying money is a bill switch. Y'all should learn how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, learn. Second thing is you'll want to be able to make stuff float. This is an ad for Vanishing Ink or Penguin because I don't sell these thread reels. But before you leave this room, we're going to sell about 20 of them. Okay? These thread reels are better than any other thread reel. By the way, they're hidden right in here. Okay? So if you ever have a fanny pack, which a lot of you do, a backpack, fanny pack, it's hidden right inside of there. That's where my thread reel is hidden with some magnets right in there. Okay, let me sell you on this thread reel. And by the way, I don't sell it. It's called the U-Day Kevlar reel. On one side of the reel, it is open, which means if it breaks, you can just grab the thread and pull it. You don't have to suck it out of anything. The second thing is there are 2 magnets over here and here. I have 2 magnets taped to the back of this, which means anytime, anywhere, I can put this in. I also have magnets taped in my suit. I have magnets taped everywhere that I use this, and I can just put it right in. When you break it, it is very easy to find. I know you guys are panicking about the thread breaking. Come and find me afterwards. I will break it live in front of you and put it together in front of you. It's so easy to do that I do it walking from one table to the next, doing close up and making sure that I have the whole thing set up. Okay? Best part about this, it retails for $12.
What?
$12. It's called the, thank you. It's called the U-Day Kevlar reel. I buy them by the dozen because if they break for whatever reason, I just throw it out and take a new one. This one has lasted me about 8 months so far. People ask like, what happens when the thread runs out? I just throw this out and then I take a new one. Last me $12 for 8 months. I see people pulling up their phones. You're welcome, Vanishing Ink and Penguin. I think those people that sell it. The U-Day Kevlar reel. Feel free to come and ask me about it. They are awesome. If you own one or you have questions, there's a way to tighten it and loosen it, which is really great. But that is the U-Day Kevlar reel. Any questions about that? U-D-A-Y. Yep. Any questions about that? Yes.
Does it come loaded with thread or you need?
Comes loaded with thread. Yep, out of the nothing. Any other questions? Cool. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to do it in 3 minutes, and then I'm going to tell you about the stuff that I have for sale, mostly stuff for free. This is a versatile move. I am going to take one card out. This one, I'm going to put it inside of the box, and then I'm going to put the box inside of my pocket, and I will leave it sticking out like that. I will do this with you. What's your name? Larry. Larry, I'm going to spread through the cards when you want to say stop. Right here? Larry, remember the card. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. I'll hold it up on the screen. If you forget the card, it's not much of a trick. I'll put the deck down. I'll take the box out. Inside the box, if you remember, I put one card. What was the card that you looked at? That's good news. Thank you. Okay, let me show you what's going on here. This is the world's fastest way to get a card from the middle of the deck into palm or anywhere you want. So there's the card. And here it is. Okay, I'll do it again. I don't know if things are flashing on the camera or not, but I'll do it one time. There's the card. And there it is. Okay, so here's what's going on. And there's a million things you can do with it, but there's the card. All my fingers are pinching everything except for that last card. My middle finger's on it, and now, right at the top. Okay, that's what's going on. So, if you're like me, easiest thing to do is to let it swivel. So it's now at the top, and you can handle the cards with this hand, and this hand just falls to your side, and it's all good here. Do it terribly. Yeah, okay. A really awesome thing you can do is they see the card, and now you're going to hand them the deck with the dirty hand. They take it, and the hand falls to your side. This is really great for 1-on-1 or 1-on-4 or 1-on-5. Surrounded, not so great. But there is a million things that you can do with this. You can take the card, and now it goes to the bottom. You can take the card, and you can put it second or third or fourth from the top. You can take the card, and you can palm it. You can hand it the deck, or you can hand it the deck with this hand. I also have ways that you can use this for any carding number or a sandwich effect. I'll do it a couple more times so you can see like that. There. Okay. I know it's rad. Come and practice with me later, and I will walk you through everything. The last crazy thing you can do with it is this. I'm going to spread through the cards, and while I spread through the cards, I'm going to call. So instead of stealing them out of the back, I'm going to do that move. So I'm spreading right now, and I've just pulled back an ace, and I'll do it like this. You can see there's another ace, there's another ace, and there's another ace. But from the front, I'll do it again with kings. From the front, you can't see. So there's one king in my hand, there's the second king in my hand, there's the third king in my hand, there's the last king in my hand. This gets handed out, and I've got all. Okay, now I'm going to very quickly tell you about the things that I have for sale, the things that I have for free, and I'm going to bring back Ben to do a big finale. First is this. Just want to talk about the lecture notes. I tried over the course of the last 2 shows that I was in, as well as this, to demonstrate every single thing that is inside this lecture note. So, you know, if you want it, Deja Vu, that card trick with the queens, is inside of here. The trick that I did at the close-up show earlier, where I waved the cards and knew how many were in it, click the exact number, that one's inside of here. The dancing transpo, that's the trick I did on stage last night, the bill trick with multiple bill changes and then the bill to a possible location. Inside the box, that is inside of here. The swivel move that I just showed you is inside of here, and all the info about the thread hookup and how I do this whole setup and how I use it is inside of here. These are $20. I have about 15 or 16 of them. If you want them after the lecture, just go to the table. And then the last is this. This is 3 different lectures. I'm the magic business coach guy. 3 different lectures about how to grow your magic business. This one is 3 ways to get leads. This is the top ways that all the guys who I coach are using to get leads for their business. This is how much you should charge for your gig. So basically a top-down view of how much you should charge based on where you are in the business. And then this is how to double your business in 2025. Full 90-minute lecture about how to double your business. This is free. Just scan it and put your email in, and it will send all of the videos to you. If you want my help, come and say hi and talk to me over there. Send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, and everywhere. Okay. Can we bring back Ben Train? Yes. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. My name is Jonah. I'll be there afterwards. One more time for Ben Train.
Before I continue, I just want to say you can obviously tell we're going very quickly. We are trying to cram in as much as we can into this lecture, but we're going to be hanging out all night tonight and all day. So if you want to see stuff that we didn't get to do, or if we did stuff and maybe we went a little too fast, or you have questions or ideas you want to share, let's hang out, let's grab a drink, soda water, or beer, whatever you want, sit, we'll jam. But let's continue. In the meantime, I'm going to make somebody's wishes come true, and I met somebody a little while ago before we started. Mitch, are you still here? Was your name Mitch? Did I get it wrong? Robbie, Marcus. But you're nodding, yes, I got it wrong, but you're not telling me what it is. Michael, would you come up here for a second? Can you give Michael a round of applause? You can come right up here. By the way, while I was backstage, I said to Adam, just so you know, I can actually do Pharaoh shuffles. And he looked at me and said, looks like you're doing somebody else's material. But anyway, hi, nice to see you. Michael, I am going to make a wish of yours come true tonight. Today, rather. Can you think of a wish? Don't say it out loud, because otherwise you won't go. Got one? Okay, good. And now, to make the wish come true, we just need a birthday candle. Gotta make the wish. You have a birthday candle. Shoot. We can improvise. Is this made out of cotton? You don't know? We'll find out. Remember, I screwed up the Pharaoh a moment ago. Okay, now this is an illusion. I just want to point out, it looks like it's burning the shirt, but I promise you it's just an illusion, okay? And what I want you to do is now to think about your wish. Do you have a wish in mind? Is the wish that you wish I didn't light your shirt on fire? Because that would have been a good one. Okay. By the way, this is not dangerous, okay? This part is though, because those fumes are toxic. Good God. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, that's hot. It's not good. Don't burn him. Don't burn him. The stage is going to explode. Done. Yeah, you have a wish? My wish is that I don't get sued, so I want you to watch very closely. Because if I go like this and just give it a little squeeze and a twist. Oh God. Just like this. That shirt restores completely. Can we give Michael a huge round of applause? He got the right for everybody. How did you do this trick? This is a trick with a thumb tip, which I cannot, very easy. So this is a trick from Tarbell, in the Tarbell books. There was a trick where you borrowed a man's handkerchief, you took the, you got one, okay good, you're ready to go. In the Tarbell notes, I think it was book 1, there is a trick where you borrow a man's handkerchief, you light it on fire, and then you restore it. I thought it was a cool trick. Nobody has a man's handkerchief with them unless we're at a magic convention. That you sir. So I was trying to figure out a different way to do it, and one of my friends said, or rather, I was thinking of a different way, and I thought everybody has a shirt of some sort. So I started playing with the idea of taking somebody's shirt like this, doing it and lighting it on fire. And a friend of mine saw me practicing this, and he said, "Why are you grabbing somebody's crotch? That's really weird. This isn't a great frame to do the trick. Why don't you do it with their sleeve, and it'll look a lot better. It's a better looking image." And I thought, oh, that's so smart. And so the secret is very simple. I have a thumb tip with a little piece of black cloth. I also have ones I left it backstage, but I have white cloth or gray or just cloth that matches people's t-shirts. Goes into your thumb tip. You bring somebody up on stage. You say, "I'm going to make a wish of yours come true." Next premise. And then you say, "Do you have a birthday candle?" They will say no. No one ever has a birthday candle. You look at their shirt, say, "Is this cotton?" My thumb tip goes into the shirt like this. At this point, it's hidden. I grab and I pinch the shirt like this. I twist, and I just bring that piece out. It's still partly inside the thumb tip. I reach in my pocket. I light it. You saw that. Now you get to take your time with it. The fire, if you're in the back of the room, you may not be able to see that it's on fire in the back. It's very small. A white t-shirt is clear. What you can see is the billowing smoke. So I blow it out pretty quickly. I'll also mention I'm pinching it with a deft grip between my first finger and thumb here, because if it goes wrong and something gets burnt, let it be my fingers, not him or his shirt. Also, for obvious reasons, do not do this with children. Okay, don't light your clothes on fire. So now you're here, and now you're going to push that piece inside like this. I got stuck on his shirt a little bit because I was rushing, but you might be afraid that touching this piece of cloth that was just on fire will burn you. I assure you, if you try it, it will not, as long as you're using the right material. So I once did this, I didn't have the cloth, and I cut a grocery bag. And I used a piece of the grocery bag, which is made with like plastic, And not only did that burn my finger, it like fused to my thumb. It was awful.
And it was hilarious.
It was hilarious. The theme of a lot of my magic is it goes wrong, in case you couldn't tell. So you're here, my thumb, because this is cotton, I put it out a little bit like this just so it's not too hot, but also as soon as my thumb shoves it in, it's deprived of oxygen. It goes out right away, it's not hot. So I go like this, I push it inside like this, and now normally what would happen is I can go like this, I can restore the shirt, you get this beautiful open hands. Now I can come here and give them a big round of applause like this. There's another way you can do this, which is really fun, which is I have the piece of cloth like this, it's burning, and now I go like this and I push it in and I rub the shirt, and now I can open my hands and it's like this, and it's restored. And to do that, it's very, very easy. I have, again, the thumb tip, thank you for being such a good sport, by the way. I have the thumb tip like this, I light it on fire, I take my middle finger and I push it in, and now I open my hand, the thumb tip is on my middle finger, but now I can rub and open my hands like this. So they see nothing on my thumb tip, and now as I curl my finger in as I pull on his shirt, the thumb tip now goes here. So in sort of real speed, it looks like this. I light it on fire, I go like this, I rub his shirt together, it restores. Give Michael a big round of applause. Did I say you can go back to the seat? No, you can. I just like to assert my authority every now and again. This is good. Michael, you were very good. Thank you for being such a good sport. Super easy trick to do, and I'll tell you my favorite way that I've ever done this is at the beach. Okay, you're wearing a bathing suit, you have a thumb tip with a piece of cloth, someone says do a trick. I'm telling you, nobody expects you to have a thumb tip with cloth in it at the beach. And so what it looks like is, you got caught off guard, you're not wearing any clothes, just a swim trunk. You go up to your friend in the middle of a group of people at the beach, you light their shirt on fire, you rub it and it restores, then you go swim and they're just sitting there going, what the hell just happened? It's a really fun little moment. Yes, super, super easy. I mean, the hand play is very, very clear. You either shove your thumb in and now you're clean, or you shove your middle finger in and rub, and then you curl it out and you're done. Any questions about this? Yes?
The piece of fabric, is it fastened to the thumb tip?
It is not. It is just a piece of, I actually bought t-shirts, and I cut out pieces of the t-shirt, so it's the same material, and I walked around the room first just to scout out. Ideally, I would have found someone with a white t-shirt, but I didn't see anybody earlier, so I used black. But yeah, it's not attached in any way. But I will tell you, one of the ideas I played with for a while was to take a piece of, you know the lining in undergarments that's like elasticy?
Yeah.
So it's got like a little bit of a pull. I attached a little piece of that to the thing here and in the inside. And so what I could do is go like this, light it on fire, snap my fingers, and this would be pulled back in. So like visibly looks like it disappeared. The only thing is then you have to go back anyway and steal it out. So I made it really easy. I just have a piece of cloth.
Well, my thought is,
Why is it not attached so it doesn't fall out?
why doesn't it fall out when you pull it out?
Good question. And I'll also explain to you why I don't like it fastened inside.
Yeah.
So I have it, my thumb is contacting it, it goes inside. I don't care if it's sticking out a little bit. That being said, obviously I don't want it to stick out, but even if it was sticking out a little bit, my hand is closed the whole time while I'm talking like this. And for a magic convention, if you see someone standing like this, you know there's something going on, but this looks totally normal for lay people. When I put this into the shirt, my fingers here grab the t-shirt and the thumb, and this is sliding the cloth out like this, and it's happening in the action of as if I'm twisting his shirt. So because of friction, my thumb is just pulling that cloth out as I'm twisting, and now I'm grabbing it at the fingertips here. And the reason I don't like it attached is, it's never happened to me, but in theory, if something went wrong and it burnt too fast, I've experimented with this cloth so I know how fast it burns, but in theory, I would rather, again, burn my fingers than his shirt, but I'd rather burn nothing. So if for some reason, I can't imagine what would happen if this one piece of cloth is combustible, I could drop it and be like, oh god, you know, like, rather than someone getting hurt. But also it doesn't need to be attached in. It just goes inside. I'm like this.
Would be afraid of the whole thing coming out when you try to.
No, it's pretty simple. You're slowly tweezing it out. Like if you practice taking someone's t-shirt and twisting it, you can't just grab it and pull it out. Like yeah.
How big is the piece?
About this big. And I can show you afterwards. It's about the size of my thumb. But it can be smaller, it can be bigger, there's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as it looks good, you know, you can do it.
I read that. Why doesn't the piece just fall
If you come speak to me after or we jam, I have lots of pieces and thumb tips. We'll do it together. Does that sound good? Let's do one more quick little trick, and then we're gonna wrap this up. And I don't know what the next thing is, but we'll have some fun. I'm gonna come down here. You're not gonna see what's happening, but I promise you're not gonna be missing much. We're gonna try an experiment in human connection. You can stay seated. Would you cut off some cards? And these are, it's a shuffle deck, it's a normal deck, I promise. Cut off some cards, hold them close to your chest. Hello. Would you cut off a small chunk of cards, hold them close to your chest? Perfect, it can be as many as one, it's up to you. Not you, buddy. You make me nervous. Hi, hey, would you do the same thing? Would you cut off a small chunk of cards, hold them close to your chest? Perfect, and would you each look at the card that you cut to? So the one that's on your, got it? I'm gonna come back, I'll take your cards, don't forget them. Oh, I like the way you hit that. I'm gonna go like this so I'm not cheating. Like this, no breaks, no controls. Dave, do not forget your cards. Dave, I'm gonna start with you. Would you do me a favor? Would you come up here and stand beside me? You got fans, Dave. I like this. Dave, this is an experiment in human connection. You looked at one card. You remember, but I don't know if anybody else, I certainly didn't. Dave, in order to figure out what your card is, I have to read your body language. And in order to do that, I do have to touch you. So Dave, 2025, I need consent. Is it okay if I touch you? That answer makes me uncomfortable. Dave, I don't want to make this weird, but is it okay if we hold hands for this? By the way, I just want to say this wasn't going to be anything weird until Dave held my hand like this. Like a normal people. Friendly guy, I like this guy. Okay. Dave, here's what I want you to do. I want you to relax, pretend these people aren't watching and judging us. Pretend they're not taking photos to embarrass us both with later. I want you to think about the card, think about the color, think about the suit, think about the value, and imagine it traveling through your arm and into me. Oh. Dave, I felt something. It's not bad, don't worry. Dave, I'm going to name the card I think you have. Okay, the one that you just looked at. If I'm right, you let go of my hand and go back to your seat. But if I'm wrong, we stay like this. Forever. Let's hope this works. Dave, you guys cut, look at my card, you didn't tell anybody, just in your head. Dave, I'm going to take a chance. I think you picked a black card. I think it was a spade. Dave, did you look at the Queen of Spades? Was it the Queen of Spades? Give me the Dave a big round of applause. One down, two to go. And again, a normal deck, I'm going to do it with you. In fact, I'll do both of you guys at the same time. Would you both stand up? And hold out one finger.
You just have 2 fingers?
It doesn't, I know, I didn't really have to. You gonna get rid of it. Do we kiss? No, just a finger. Did you feel that, by the way? I did. Inappropriate. Here we go. I think I got it. I think I got yours. You might give me a little bit of trouble. I'm going to take out, I think for you, and I think for you. What was the name of your card? That's the 8 of Hearts. And your card?
7 of Diamonds.
No, what was the card you looked at? Well, that's the 7 of Diamonds. Can we give these two guys a big round of applause? You guys can take a seat. You guys can take a seat. Remember, we're cutting at the time. So, I'm not going to explain this because we're out of time, but I will tell you this. This is an ordinary deck of cards. It can be done from a shuffle deck and use. There is 0 sleight of hand. You know that's true because you saw me try to do sleight of hand earlier. And I can't. This is a normal deck of cards. It is an impromptu, basically, trick. You can do it with multiple people. It was a solution to a version of the tossed out deck that I wanted to do, but with a normal deck. The way I like to do it most often is I have 3 people join me around a table. We talk about poker and body language. The deck is on the table. They each look at a card. They replace it. I don't need to touch the cards. And now I can start reading their minds and doing other stuff. I have a ton of different work with it. You can use it to force cards. You can use it to control cards. You can use it to do a whole bunch of stuff. I call it the Trinity Principle. And I can tell you that once you learn it, you'll be able to do it in seconds. If you can remember a single key card, you can do this trick. I'm not going to explain it right now just because it's a little bit complicated to explain, but once you understand it, you can use it as often as many times as you want.
Tell them about your lecture notes.
No. Okay, I will. I have 2 sets of lecture notes. I will will tell you right now, I only brought 30 of each. A bunch of them sold before the lecture. You guys are very gracious. So this is what's left. The first is my Anteater Consortium notes. Stupid name, but hopefully a good set of notes. There's a bunch of magic in here. Forward by Bill Abbott. If you like hard magic, there's a whole bunch of hard magic in here. These are my Beekeeper secret notes, illustrated by my mother. She's amazing. It has the candy trick with the math principle inside. It's got some fun card stuff inside, some self-working stuff. This is my at the table Murphy's lecture. There is about 2.5 hours of magic. You can see what I look like with hair. It is not for sale, but I have 9 copies of these left. The first 9 people that buy both these set of notes, it's $20. It's $20 if you buy them both for $40. The first 9 people get this thrown in for free. And then also, last but not least, there is 1 golden set of Anteater Consortium notes. If you get one, you get it at random. If you end up buying notes, if you get the golden one, you also get a card course that Jonah and I put together during the pandemic. It's several hours of card magic. It retails for somewhere between $50 to $100. I can't remember, Jonah. Whatever it is, it retails for something. If you get the golden set of notes, you get it for free. $20, $40 for both. First 9 people get this. If I sell out of them, my parents told me they will finally be proud of me. So please, if you're interested, come look at the notes. If you just want to read them, if you're a fast read, you can read them. That is it for me. Jonah, would you come up here so that we can give you a round of applause for being so good? You guys have been amazing. I want to get our name over here at the bar. Thank you for letting us share our magic with you, and enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you soon.
Oh, no. Everybody, stay right there. I need, is Patrick Ferenga in the room? Does anybody know Patrick Ferenga? Magician Patrick Ferenga? Can you see me, please? And I need Rick Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S. Does anybody know who that gentleman is? Okay, we can talk. Thank you so much. Okay, now rush the stage. Rush the stage.